Hello everyone. Uh, in this lecture, I will be discussing with you about op-amp in closed loop configuration. That means the application of feedback to the op-amp. In the last lecture, we have seen how how in open loop configuration an op-amp can work in differential amplifier mode, in inverting mode, and in non-inverting mode. And uh, one big thing which we have discussed is that while working in open loop configuration, there is chances of clipping that may occur when the output of the op amp attempts to exceed the saturation levels of the op amp. That is, when the output voltage will try to exceed the plus VCC or minus VE at either side of the saturation levels, that is at the positive or at the negative saturation. And because of that, the if it happens to be so that output voltage goes beyond those saturation levels, there will be clipping of the output voltage uh, will be observed, and as a result of that, the output will be get distorted. So in other words, because of open loop gain of the op amp is very high, we can say only smaller signals of an order of microvolts or less having very low frequency may be amplified accurately without distortion. So for small signal cases in open loop configuration, small signal, very low frequency, small signal means small amplitude swing, and very low frequency signals in the order of microvolts or less may be amplified accurately without distortion while working in open loop configuration by the op amps because of its very high gain. Now the signals of this small amplitude are very susceptible to noise, and it is very difficult to work with them in the laboratories. So preferably the large signals are used at the input, and thereby there will always be a chance in open loop that for signals to be large, there will always be a chance that output voltage may exceed the saturation level, may exceed saturation levels, resulting distortion, output distortion. So therefore, considering this limitation of operation of working with the small, medium and large size signals in open loop, the open loop voltage gain of op amp is also not a constant. Apart from this issue, the OL voltage gain, the other issue is open loop voltage gain is not constant. Other than this distortion issue, this is another problem to working in open loop by the op amps. And the voltage gain varies with changes in temperature and power supply, and as well as the mass production techniques. On various factors, the open loop voltage gain may vary because of temperature, power supply, and mass production technique. All may be involved for variation in the open loop gain, and the variations in the voltage gain are relatively large in open loops in particular, which makes the open loop op amp unsuitable for many linear applications. So therefore, in most linear applications, the output is proportional to the input and is of the same type, as we have seen. But in the open loop, that is difficult to be ensured because of chances of variation in the open loop voltage gain. In addition to these issues, the bandwidth of most open loop op amps is negligibly small, almost zero. So the third point in the operation of open loop is bandwidth negligibly small, in open loop op amps. So this is another big problem to work with the op-amps, because there should be appreciable bandwidth for proper working by the amplifiers. Now if the bandwidth or the band of frequencies for which the bandwidth of an amplifier is basically the band of frequencies for which the gain remains constant, that is called the bandwidth, and if in the open loop that is negligibly small, almost zero, so that may be a difficulty, that may cause difficulty to work with. So therefore it is almost zero, the bandwidth, and for this reason the open loop op amp is impractical in AC applications. So therefore it limits its operation for AC applications, limited AC applications. Now for example, if we consider the IC741C, the open loop bandwidth is only approximately 5 Hz. So you can understand from this value how less it is. 5 Hz is the open loop bandwidth, OLBW. So therefore it is difficult to work with this small bandwidth for most of the linear applications, and especially if it is of AC applications, and in almost all AC applications a bandwidth at least larger than this 5 Hz is required. So for the reasons stated here, the open loop op amp is generally not used in linear applications, and in certain applications the open loop op amp is purposely used as a non-linear device also, that is a square wave output is obtained by deliberately applying a relatively large input signal. Open loop op amp configurations are most suitable in non-linear applications rather. So we will see that open loop op amps are mostly preferred hence for non-linear applications. To work with relatively large signal. So we can select as well as control the gain of op amp if we introduce now a modification in the basic circuit. This modification involves the use of feedback. So all these problems will be countered with if we allow some modification in the basic circuit of the open loop op amp, and that modification involves the use of the feedback. And you know what is feedback? It is an output signal that is fed back, sampled from the output and mixed to the input, or fed back to the input either directly or by or through another network which is called feedback network. So if the signal is fed back in this fashion, is of opposite polarity or out of phase by 180 degree or in odd integer multiples of 180 degree with respect to the input signal, that type of feedback is called negative feedback. So to combat all these problems we need feedback, and this feedback can be of two types. One is negative feedback, where the feedback arrangement is done when feeding back the sample of the output signal or the replica of the output signal in 180 degree out of phase or odd integer multiples of that with respect to the input signal, and that should be called negative feedback. And an amplifier with negative feedback has a self-correcting ability against any change in the output voltage, as we have seen in during our course on negative amplifier, and that change in output voltage may be caused by change in environmental conditions, and the negative feedback is having a self-correcting ability to fight against any change in the output voltage. So therefore and because of that, negative feedback is used for self-correction of the problem which is happening, which is being observed as a change in the output voltage because of different environmental conditions, different external factors. And therefore because of the self-correction nature, and negative feedback is called also degenerative feedback, because it is also called degenerative feedback, because the meaning of degenerating means the meaning of degenerating is when used it degenerates or reduces, means it degenerates means it reduces the output voltage amplitude and in turn reduces the voltage gain, and through this reduction process the gain is made stable and the change in the unwanted change in the output can be countered with. On the other hand, if the signal is feedback is that is in phase with the input signal, the feedback should be called positive feedback, as we have seen while our discussion on oscillators. So this negative feedback for feedback amplifiers and positive feedback for oscillators we have discussed in the respective courses. And in positive feedback, the feedback signal helps or increases or aids the input signal, and for this reason it is called regenerative feedback, that is it is regenerated or the output is increased because of this feedback or enhanced. And positive feedback is we know for used for oscillation purposes. Now when used in amplifiers, negative feedback stabilizes the gain, we have seen that, increases the bandwidth and changes the input and output resistances based on the different topologies. And of course the price that is to be paid for these improvements is the reduced voltage gain. So that means the improvement in the bandwidth, the changes in the input and output resistances is done at the cost of reduced voltage gain, or the stabilization of voltage gain rather using negative feedback is done at the cost of reduced voltage gain. And other benefits of negative feedbacks include a decrease in harmonic or nonlinear distortion and reduction in the effect of input offset voltage at the output. That means the problem of offset can be countered with the use of negative feedback in op amps. So the negative feedback, we have seen there are many advantages of using negative feedback and why it should be preferred for working with op amps. Apart from this, it also reduces the effect of variations in temperature and supply voltages on the output of the op amp. So there are many such improvements which we can establish, or we can explain, we can talk about the advantages of negative feedback. So first is one is gain stability. Although the gain is reduced at reduced value. Point number 2 is improvement in bandwidth, input and output resistances. So these are the advantages of negative feedback. And number 3 is we can say, we are just listing those benefits. It decrease harmonic or non-linear distortion. The negative feedback, this is another improvement or benefit of negative feedback. And reduction of offset changes due to offset. And apart from this, it will counter the variation, counteract variation due to temperature and power supply oriented changes of the output, changes of output. So therefore negative feedback has its effect on the performance of op amp, we can see from here. And now we will see the block diagrams for different op amp configuration using negative feedback in the next topic. And because we have seen there are so many improvements or benefits for using negative feedback, we have just now discussed. And so let us move on to the analysis of and the discussion about the block diagram representation of op amp using negative feedback in different configurations. So an op amp that uses feedback is called feedback amplifier. So op-amp is also a feedback amplifier, and a feedback amplifier is sometimes referred to as closed loop amplifier. So now we will be looking at closed loop operation of op-amp using negative feedback, with negative feedback mainly, or rather with feedback which is negative, because the feedback forms a closed loop between input and output, and a feedback amplifier essentially consists of two parts, we know. Here in this case we will be see the parts are an op-amp and a feedback circuit. So sorry, the feedback circuit can take any form whatsoever. We have seen about this during our discussion on the course of feedback amplifier and oscillator. We have seen a feedback circuit can be designed in many forms with different elements, and that may be made up of either passive components, active components, or combinations of both. And in order to develop the basic feedback concepts, only purely resistive feedback circuits will be used for the time being, and for also for simplicity of understanding and calculation for the of the op-amp circuits. A closed loop amplifier can be represented by using two blocks, one for op-amp and another for feedback circuit, and therefore there are four ways to connect these two blocks, and these connections are classified according to whether the voltage or current is fed back to the input in series or parallel. And based on that, we have already seen, once again we will be discussing the same thing here as we have seen during our course on feedback amplifier, that based on the different topologies, the feedback amplifier can be classified in four ways, and it is the the classification is made based on whether the, in terms of voltage or current, the feedback is taken from the output, and in what way, whether it is in series or in parallel, it is mixed up with the input, or it is to be assimilated with the input. So the different topologies here also we will be observed for working with to understand the working of closed loop op amps. Number one is voltage series feedback. Then voltage shunt feedback. Then current series feedback. And then current shunt feedback. So all four of these are same as we have seen during our course, in the course on feedback amplifiers. Now these four type of configurations will be illustrated now one by one, and one or two out of them will be done in details for the requirements regarding op amp. Now we will be moving on to the op amp circuit straight away, and we will not be discussing this anymore individually, the basic topologies, because from the course on we have done on feedback amplifier, we know how the basic topologies are drawn, or how it looks like, and the feedback quantity is either a voltage or current that is taken from as the replica or as a sample from the output of the output through the feedback circuit, proportional to the output voltage. And in other cases also, how it is mixed up with the input, that is whether in series or in parallel form, and based on that these configurations have been, or topologies have been devised. And we also know from these topologies that the signal direction through the basic amplifier, which is op amp in this case, is from input to output. On the other hand, in the ideal case, the signal direction through the feedback circuit is exactly opposite, that is from input to that is from output to input. The voltage series and voltage shunt feedback configurations are important because, and they will be having much more applications than the other two, because they are most commonly used. And so an in-depth analysis of these two configurations will be discussed here in this lecture. and we will be computing the voltage gain, input resistance, output resistance, etc. Out of that configurations, out of that topologies. The other two configurations will not be discussed in detail, but that you know from I have discussed during the course of feedback amplifier already. So that will not be discussed in detail here about the current series and current shunt feedback. So we will be discussing about the voltage series and voltage shunt in more details in the light of their application for op amp as a closed loop amplifier, and discussion about that. So let us first start discussing about the voltage series feedback amplifier. So the voltage series feedback amplifier, let us first draw the circuit. So this is the basic circuit diagram where this op amp is basically being seen as with its schematic symbol of representation, including its large signal voltage gain A. So A is very large, and the feedback circuit is composed of two resistors, R1 and RF. This is R1 and this is RF. The feedback circuit is connected like this, and the feedback is connected to the inverting terminal. You can see it is connected from the output through RF and R1, combination of RF and R1 into the inverting terminal of the op amp. And the circuit that is given here is commonly known as non-inverting amplifier with feedback in closed loop. So this is non-inverting mode of operation or non-inverting amplifier in closed loop, because we have connected output with input, so it is in closed loop, working in closed loop. And as because the input signal is applied to the non-inverting input terminal, this is the input signal V in. R in is considered as 0 here, the source resistance 0 volt, and this V in is applied to the non-inverting terminal. So this is V1 and this is V2, and between them we know it is V1 minus V2 is VID, the difference signal at the input. So, and the output, this RL is the load resistance, and across that RL the output is measured as VO, and we should mark the feedback circuit, which is this one, comprised of R1 and RF. So this marked circuit is nothing but the feedback circuit, and the voltage that is measured across R1 is nothing but feedback voltage Vf with respect to ground. So therefore it is necessary to define some important terms for this voltage series feedback amplifier, which is nothing but the non-inverting amplifier in closed loop, which is whose circuit diagram is shown over here, and specifically the voltage gain of the op amp with and without feedback, and the gain of the feedback circuit can be defined as A is given by VO by VID. It is quite evident from the circuit itself. This is the open loop voltage gain without feedback. So this A is nothing but open loop voltage gain without feedback. This is quite evident from the circuit, because when there is no feedback connected, output by input, the ratio of ratio of output with difference of the input is the open loop voltage gain. Now the closed loop voltage gain is denoted by AF, which is nothing but, or gain with feedback, this is the gain with feedback, it is VO divided by Vin, that is the output by actual input source which is being applied at the non-inverting terminal. And apart from this, feedback circuit, that is gain of feedback circuit, which is beta, denoted by beta, is given by its output voltage, which is Vf, and its input voltage, which is a part of output voltage, actual output voltage, which is Vo of the amplifier. So these are the basic definitions of open loop gain, closed loop gain, and gain of the feedback circuit. Now let us analyze how the negative feedback is working in the operation of this circuit. If we apply the KVL for the input loop, we may write based on the circuit diagram as we have seen in the last case. For this case, VID is equal to Vin minus Vf. So this is as per the negative feedback that is being used. The VID is the input to the internal amplifier of the op amp, which is nothing but the external source voltage minus the feedback voltage. This minus sign is for negative feedback. So this equation is for applying negative feedback to the op amp. So where Vin is the input voltage, Vf is the feedback voltage, and VID is the difference input voltage. So this is input difference, this is external input, and this is feedback voltage or feedback output. So an op amp, we know, always amplifies the difference input voltage VID, and this difference voltage is equal to the input voltage Vin minus the feedback voltage Vs, my Vin minus the feedback voltage Vf, as it is evident from this equation. Or in other words, we can say that the feedback voltage always opposes the input voltage, that is, it is 180 degree out of phase with respect to the input voltage, and therefore the feedback is said to be negative, and that's why the negative sign is put in between the Vin and Vf. So now returning now to the analysis of the voltage series feedback amplifier, we should note here that it will be performed by computing the closed loop voltage gain input and output resistance from this configuration. So let us first find the closed loop voltage gain using this voltage series feedback concept. Closed loop voltage gain from this circuit, and for this non-inverting amplifier working in closed loop, and this is given by AF equal to VO by Vin as per the definition of closed loop voltage gain. Now we know we can write from for a general op amp and its operation, that for the general equation for op amp is VO equal to A into V1 minus V2. That means VO is A times the difference of the input voltages. This is the general equation for op amp in general, for all op amps, or for all differential amplifiers. Now if we refer to the circuit diagram, which we have this circuit diagram, from here we can see that V1 is nothing but Vin, as because the V in is applied to the non-inverting terminal. This V in is applied to the non-inverting terminal, and which is V1, and V2 is connected from the output, that is through a feedback network comprised with R1 and RF. So from here we can write that actually V1 is equal to V in here. So therefore V2 can be found by potential divider rule from VO. How the V2 can be calculated? V2 is nothing but how much this V2 with respect to ground is actually the VF with respect to ground. So V2 should be equal to VF here. Then how VF can be calculated? So V2 is the feedback voltage here, and VF can be calculated. It is using the potential divider rule on VO and R1 and RF. So this is VO into R1 divided by R1 plus RF using potential divider rule or voltage divider rule. Okay, very simple. Since we know Ri is far greater than R1, where Ri is the input resistance of op-amp. So therefore if we substitute all this in this V1 and V2 into this basic equation for op-amp, this V1 and V2 value, so we may write VO equal to A into V in minus R1 VO divided by R1 plus RF. Now if we rearrange to find what is VO, so just take VO as common, 1 plus, and take this term, the right side term, to be multiplied with A, and then take that to the left side of this equal to sign, and if VO is taken as common, it is 1 plus, within bracket 1 plus A R1 divided by R1 plus RF, and that is equal to A V in. Therefore if we now simplify R1 plus RF plus AR1, that is equal to AV in, or VO is equal to A into R1 plus RF into V in divided by R1 plus RF plus AR1. So therefore AF, the closed loop voltage gain, is given by VO by V in, and that is equal to, from here, A into R1 plus RF divided by R1 plus RF plus AR1. Now generally A is very large. Since A is very large, so therefore introducing this idea into this expression, we can say AR1, this term A into R1, should be far greater than R1 plus RF. AR1 should be greater than R1 plus RF. So therefore the denominator becomes R1 plus RF plus AR1. It becomes approximately equal to AR1. We have neglected R1 plus RF with respect to AR1 since AR1 is very large. So therefore in the expression of AF, we can write it as VO by V in equal to A into R1 plus RF divided by AR1. A cancels out, so this can be written as 1 plus RF by R1. So what is closed loop voltage gain in this case? 1 plus Rf by R1 of this non-inverting amplifier. So this is an important relation, the closed loop voltage gain of non-inverting amplifier, and it shows that the gain of the voltage series feedback amplifier is determined by the ratio of two resistors R1 and Rf. So if we want to design a voltage series feedback amplifier using op-amp or non-inverting amplifier using op-amp, we should be selecting the values of Rf and R1, and thereby we can design it. Now we know that the gain of the feedback circuit beta is given by Vf and Vo, gain of feedback circuit as per the definition. So therefore if we consider here and we have found here that the relation between Vf and Vo from this equation using potential divider rule. So if we find Vf by Vo, that is R1 by R1 plus Rf. So Vf by Vo is nothing but R1 by R1 plus Rf. So if we now compare these two expressions, the value of AF, gain with feedback, and the gain of feedback network, we can conclude that AF is equal to 1 by beta in ideal cases. That means the closed loop gain is reciprocal of the feedback gain. So gain of the feedback circuit is so, and in other words we can say for given values of R1 and Rf, the values of AF and beta can be made fixed. So this equation AF equal to 1 by beta is an alternative to the equation of AF equal to 1 plus Rf by R1, and its simpler form, that AF equal to 1 by beta, also makes it easier to remember. So finally the closed loop voltage gain AF can be expressed in terms of open loop gain A and feedback circuit gain beta like this. If we rearrange equation this one which we have found, VO AF equal to VO by V in, that was this equation. If we rearrange this equation, AF equal to VO by V in equal to A into R1 plus Rf by R1 plus Rf plus AR1. If we rearrange that equation, once again rewriting this equation, A into R1 plus Rf divided by R1 plus Rf plus AR1. And if we rearrange this equation like this by dividing numerator and denominator R1 plus Rf with R1 plus Rf, then we may get AF equal to A into R1 plus Rf divided by R1 plus Rf and the denominator is R1 plus Rf plus AR1 divided by R1 plus Rf. So from here we may find A by 1 plus AR1 by R1 plus Rf. So this is AF. Okay. So now this expression R1 by R1 plus Rf is nothing but, we know this can be written as A by 1 plus A beta, since beta is equal to, we have found just here previously that beta is equal to R1 by R1 plus Rf. So put in that place the beta, it should be A by 1 plus A beta. So from here we are seeing that AF is the closed loop voltage gain A is the open loop voltage gain, so closed loop voltage gain can be expressed in terms of open loop voltage gain in this way, and beta is the gain of the feedback circuit, and this A beta is nothing but we know the loop gain. So from here what we have found? We have found that basic gain equation with feedback in terms of without feedback gain for a negative feedback amplifier. So this resembles the basic relation of closed loop gain or overall gain of negative feedback amplifier. So this expression resembles with the gain of that expression A by 1 plus A beta. We have come across this expression during our course on negative feedback amplifier. So we can see that yes, this configuration of op amp in closed loop using negative feedback resembles the same thing for as we have seen in case of a general negative feedback amplifier using voltage series feedback. So if we now like to draw a block diagram based on this equation, the block diagram will illustrate a standard form for representing a system with feedback and also indicates the relationship between different variables of the system. And this block diagram approach will help to simplify the analysis of complex closed loop networks, particularly if they are composed of non-resistive feedback circuits also. So the simple block diagram depicting or representing this equation or establishing this equation can be looked like this. This is the gain of the this is the op amp having high gain A. This is output voltage VO taken as the input to the feedback circuit, which is having gain beta, whose output is VF, and that is fed to a circuit. This is called summer circuit or mixer. This is signal mixer circuit or summer circuit, and this is fed one input into the summer is VF, its output is VID into the op amp, and the other input of this into the summer is the external supply source, that is Vin. So if this side is plus, this VF is to be added with algebraically is to be added with this Vin with a minus sign in front, and this minus sign will be indicating the negative feedback. So this is the block diagram representation of non-inverting amplifier with feedback. So this is block diagram of non-inverting amplifier with feedback, and this is the general block diagram. Okay, now let us discuss the difference input voltage when it becomes ideally zero. So let us once again consider the basic the general equation of op amp VO equal to A into VID, we know, and so therefore from here we can write that VID is equal to VO by A. Now since A is very large, ideally infinity, A is large as because of this, so therefore we can say that VID is approximately 0. So if VID is 0, that means V1 is approximately equal to V2, and this is for ideal cases. If we consider A is large, almost something near to infinity, then these two input voltages V1 and V2 at the two input terminals of the op amp should be equal. So this it will mean that the voltage at the non-inverting input terminal of the op amp is approximately equal to that at the inverting input terminal, provided that A is very large and near to infinity. This concept is useful in the analysis of closed loop op amp circuits. For example, ideal closed loop voltage gain can be obtained using these results in this fashion. So if now using this concept to be applied in the non-inverting amplifier using voltage series feedback, which we have seen just a little while earlier, that if V1 is now Vin considering the last circuit diagram, and V2 is Vf as we have seen in that case, and this is given by Vf was given by R1 into Vo by R1 plus Rf. Now if we substitute these V1 and V2 in this equation, V1 approximately equal to V2, we should be getting that Vin is approximately equal to R1 Vo divided by R1 plus Rf. And therefore AF, which is given by, we know, Vo by Vin, that is equal to R1 plus Rf divided by R1, and that is given by 1 plus Rf by R1. So using the same procedure, using this procedure also, that difference input voltage ideally 0, that means considering V1 approximately equal to V2, once again we have reached at the same formula or the same expression for closed loop voltage gain, which is given by 1 plus Rf by R1. So in whatever way we apply the logic, we should be arriving at the same expression of closed loop voltage gain, and you need to remember this expression. It is 1 plus Rf by R1, where this Rf and R1 will comprise the negative feedback network for op-amp in this occasion when it is working in non-inverting mode. So the most important thing is, this is the gain when op-amp is working in non-inverting mode. That means it is working as non-inverting amplifier. And for then, when it is working in as non-inverting amplifier, this is the closed loop gain or the overall gain of the op-amp. This is the expression, and this will be useful for solving numerical problems. Now let us see what is the effect of it on the input resistance with feedback. So let us first draw input resistance with feedback. For the op-amp, which we have found right now. So let us first draw the circuit. And in this case, we will be helping us in drawing the equivalent circuit of op-amp to find the input and output resistances. So this Vin is the source, external source to be applied at the non-inverting terminal. In is the current going into the non-inverting terminal, and this is in small I. This is V1 and this is V2, and between them this is VID, the difference in the two voltage. This is RF and this is R1, and across R1 the voltage is measured as Vf in terms of the feedback voltage. And this is the equivalent circuit of op-amp This is load resistance RL, and across it VO is measured, the output voltage, and this is nothing but input resistance of op amp Ri, and this is output resistance of op amp Ro, and this voltage source is the representation of voltage value AVID, that is the representation of op amp as a voltage source at its output terminal, and as an alternating source of magnitude AVID based on the general equation of op amp. And from here, using this circuit, we can derive the effect of feedback on input resistance of closed loop op amp working in non-inverting mode using voltage series feedback. So this is the op amp equivalent circuit. In this circuit, all the parameters are equally shown, and the input resistance with feedback is denoted by RIF, which is being found looking from the input terminal into the op amp in this fashion. So the input resistance with feedback can be defined as, we can write it like this, it is RIF is equal to V in by I in. I in is the incoming current into the non-inverting terminal as shown in the diagram, and V in is the externally applied voltage. So V by I is the input resistance with feedback, obviously, and this can be written as V in divided by what is I in case of this circuit, we can write it as VID by Ri, where Ri is the input resistance of op amp, input resistance of op amp, and RIF is input resistance with feedback. So this I in is nothing but the input voltage. Once again, refer to the circuit. Here at the input at the two between the two input terminals, the voltage is VID. So this current should be nothing but this VID divided by this input resistance. So this is the voltage across this input resistance Ri of op amp, and therefore if we divide this VID by Ri, we should be getting the current into it, that is I in. So I in can be written as VID by Ri in this case. So I have written that. So this is written like that. Now, however, from the basic equation we know VID is given by VO by A for any op amp, and also the other equation is VO given by A by 1 plus A beta into V in, which is as per the overall voltage gain with feedback, that equation. Now using these two equations, henceforth we can find the input resistance with feedback. So RIF can be found as RIF was we have written in previously V in divided by VID by Ri into Ri by VID. This was RIF. Now if we put in place of VID VO by A, so this is V in Ri. In place of VID we are putting VO by A. So we can write this, and therefore put A in the numerator. So it is ARI into V in by VO Now we have for VO we can write ARI is into V in by, in place of VO we can write A by 1 plus A beta into V in, and V in cancels out. So from here we can write ARI, and A also cancels out. So from here we can write 1 plus A beta into Ri is my RIF. So put this inside the box. So we can say that the input resistance of the op amp with feedback given by RIF is 1 by A beta times 1 plus A beta times that without feedback, which is Ri. Okay. So we can say that with the application of negative feedback, the gain of the input resistance will be increased, which is equal to 1 by A beta. So the gain of the input resistance will be increased 1 by A beta times if negative feedback is applied in op amp working in closed loop configuration at non-inverting mode. So this is the same as we have seen in case of a normal negative feedback amplifier that working in voltage series topology, where input resistance with after application of feedback input resistance is increased by this amount of 1 plus A beta. So the same thing we are observing here also in case of analysis with using op amps. Okay, now let us move on to see the effect on output resistance with feedback. Output resistance with feedback. Now output resistance is the resistance which can be determined looking back into the feedback amplifier from the output terminal. So let us first draw the circuit, and thereafter we will be applying the Thevenin's theorem to find the output resistance as per the usual process we have seen since the chapter on BJT. We have discussed on different sources, and specifically to find the output resistance with feedback we need to reduce the independent source to 0, and also to apply an external voltage, and then to calculate the resulting current from it. And that means the external voltage at the output, an external source has to be connected. So first let us see the circuit, how it should be modified to find the output resistance. So this is the circuit to find the output resistance with feedback. Everything remains same as we have seen the circuit for the input resistance case also, only to make some changes to find the output resistance. As per usual practice, the input source is shorted to 0, and also so V in is made to 0, and the output voltage which is measured across the load resistance is removed, and in place of that a voltage source is connected of magnitude VO, which is delivering a current IO into the through the output terminal of the op amp. So this is the difference with the previous circuit for finding the input resistance. And from this node N, IO is getting divided in two parts, IF and IO dash. So we can write from here ROF, that is output resistance with feedback, is given by VO by IO. This is the first equation. And applying at node N KCL, if we apply KCL, it is IO equal to IO dash plus IF, sum of the currents. Now since here RF plus R1 which is in parallel to Ri, that means these two resistances which is comprising the feedback network RF plus R1 in series, that is in parallel with the input resistance of the op amp equivalent of this combination is far greater than output resistance, because we know for an ideal op amp the input resistance is very high and output resistance almost infinite, and output resistance of op amp is ideally 0 or rather very low for general op amp. So this RF plus R1 parallel with RI, this equivalent resistance will be far greater than RO, where Ri and Ro are the input and output resistances without feedback of op amp. And also we can say that the current IO dash is far greater than IF, because since output resistance of op amp is very low, so this IO dash current will be very high as compared to IF, which is being divided at node N. So therefore we can say, considering this condition to be applied over this equation, we can write that IO is predominantly equal to IO prime. Now the current IO can be found by writing Kirchhoff's voltage equation or KVL for the output loop, and that can be written as VO equal to VO minus RO IO minus AVID is equal to 0, because this is the voltage source. RO IO is the current that is entering through the input terminal, output terminal of the op amp, and making a potential drop across RO, which is IO RO, and it is actually IO prime RO, but IO prime we have seen it is equal to IO RO. It is equal to IO, so this is IO RO, and minus AVID. So the output loop is actually this region. This is the region. Through this loop the KVL is applied by KVL, and we are measuring the output resistance from looking from outside into the output terminal of op amp, which is ROF. So from here we can find IO given by VO minus AVID divided by RO, and now we know VID is equal to V1 minus V2, where V1 is made to 0 because it is shorted, so this is 0 minus, and V2 is, we know, VF, which is measured across this resistance R1. This is actually the V2. So from here we can write, and how VF can be calculated, it is minus R1 into VO divided by R1 plus RF using potential divider rule, as we have done in the previous occasion also, using potential divider rule. Okay, so this is, now what is R1 by R1 plus RF? This is nothing but, we know, beta. R1 by R1 plus RF is actually beta, so this can be written as VID is minus beta VO. Okay, this is VID. So if we now substitute this VID equal to beta minus beta VO into this equation, we may write IO, that is given by VO plus A beta VO divided by RO. Now we know to find ROF, which is VO by IO. Now substitute IO, this expression, into here, so this can be written as VO by, taking VO as common from here, VO into 1 plus A beta divided by RO, so it will go in the numerator and VO is cancelled out, so this is RO by 1 plus A beta. So that means we can say that output resistance for op amp with feedback is reduced by a factor 1 plus A beta, which is the case we have seen for the general feedback amplifier in our course on negative feedback amplifier, that with feedback the output resistance is reduced by a factor 1 plus A beta when voltage series feedback is used. So here also for working with op amp we are observing the same thing, So it shows the output resistance with voltage series feedback in op-amp amplifier working in non-inverting mode is 1 by 1 plus A beta times decreased, or A beta times, or rather in other words we can say 1 plus A beta times decreased from the resistance without feedback, which is RO. So the output resistance of op-amp with feedback is much smaller than the output resistance without feedback, and the difference is 1 by 1 plus A beta times. This much amount is decreased from without feedback when the feedback is applied. So all this we have for op-amp working in non-inverting mode using voltage series feedback. I hope you have enjoyed. In the next lecture we will be looking the next topology as voltage shunt feedback that is to be applied for operation with the op-amps. Thank you.